Okay, Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Victory Talk. It's Friday, y'all. Y'all already know we gotta have our Friday celebration. It is Friday, y'all. We are so glad that you tuned in with us tonight. I am Key and
Lady J.
We are in the house tonight for another edition of Victory Talk. So tonight's special guest that we have with us, we have Miss Rhonda Silva, who is the Division Administrator of the Baltimore City Cancer Program at the University of Maryland Marlene and Stewart Greenbaum Comprehensive Cancer Center. We also have Miss Linda Adamson. She was diagnosed at the university with breast cancer in 2012 and diagnosed with metastatic cancer in 2014. So I'm going to just read a little love blurb that we received on her. She is known as the Real Fashionista. She is a mother, a grandmother of two, and a member of the Living and Loving Life Breast Cancer Support Circle at the Baltimore City Cancer Program. So we want to welcome our guest this evening and of course we got our girl Shay. For those of you that don't know, say hi, Shay.
Hey,
So she is in the house with us as always. This is our Fit for Life session, y'all. So we're going to give our guests the opportunity to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about themselves. We can start with you, Miss Rhonda.
Hello. Again, great for the introduction. I am a registered nurse of 43 years. Wow. And I presently am in 20 years of cancer. Breast, cervical, and colorectal cancer at University of Maryland at the Cancer Center. It is a rewarding experience. It is it's a grant-funded program, believe it or not, 20 years, grant-funded, cigarette restitution fund. What we do is go into the communities of Baltimore City and the surrounding metropolitan, and what we do is educate women and men and those who have no insurance or underinsured. We will bring them into our program, and we will provide a clinical breast exam, a Pap exam, and a mammogram. If we find anything abnormal, we will pay for that as well. We will run you right through the cancer center. And so you get the best and the best and the best of care, and we will follow you all the way through the process. So breast, cervical, and colorectal, but definitely this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I definitely wanted to be a part of this.
All right.
awesome.
Yeah. So we ready for you, Miss Linda.
Good evening. My name is Linda Adamson, and I'm a 2-year stage 3 breast cancer survivor, and I'm also a 7-year stage 4 metastatic breast cancer survivor. And fighting battle, but God is good. I do have the victory because I'm still here. But I want to also mention that I was blessed to have the Baltimore City Cancer Program take me in, because at the time I was diagnosed, I didn't have any insurance. And God has opened the door for me where the Baltimore City Cancer Program paid for everything. I mean, they took me in like they knew me for years. They walked me through everything. They made me feel comfortable. And I thank God that He opened the door and showed favor in me, and He still does.
Wow, that is amazing. So welcome again, ladies, and we are so thankful to have you with us this evening. Shay, did you want to throw in anything in there before we get started?
No, I think everybody pretty much know me, but those who do not, I am Shay Brown, the founder and CEO of Fit for Life. I am a licensed family nurse practitioner. I'm also not specialized, but do screening as well with the breast cancer, colorectal cancer, prostate, you name it. These are things that we do as practitioners. We screen individuals. I just had a lady that came in today. Dr. Brown, I think I have a lump on my right breast. We did an examination, and she sure enough did a lump on her breast. We moved very quickly, ordered mammogram, ultrasounds, everything that I could possibly think of to make sure that she didn't need to waste her time to connect with more stuff that she needs. So when we find someone that has any of the signs and symptoms or anything that's irregular. We try and like get it taken care of all at once, as much as we possibly can.
All right. That's a blessing.
All right. So y'all,
Right.
I know we got a lot of information to get out there tonight, so we're gonna jump right on in there. So we want to talk about, breast cancer in itself, and being that it is the most common cancer in American women, with the exception of skin cancer. The average risk of a woman in the United States to develop breast cancer sometime in her life is about 13%. This means there's a 1 in 8 chance that she will develop breast cancer. This also means that there is a 7 in 8 chance that she will never have the disease. So, Miss Linda, we're going to shoot it over to you to start. Can you tell us how you were actually medically diagnosed, and if you can recall what type of testing had to be done? What was that process like for you? At least because I know you went through this on 2 separate occasions. So.
Yes. Well, in 2012, I detected the lump in my breast myself, in my left breast. I was in a little denial because I thought it was going to go away, because when, every month I would lump up and then it would go away because I had the fatty cystic. So, it didn't go away, so I went to my mom. I'm a mom's girl. And I said, "Oh, can you feel this?" She said, "Oh, daughter, that's something not right." I said, "You think so?" So then I went to the Baltimore City Breast Cancer program. I called them, and they took me in, and I had to have a mastectomy done, And when the doctor was telling me everything, it like blew my mind. And I had my family, I have a praying family, I had my family members there, and I have this aunt that she's a nurse, and she went and she wrote everything down as the doctor was mentioning everything to me. So I also had the breast biopsy too, and I had lumps in my right breast too, but they were able to put the needle in there and bust them. So I guess it wasn't the same as the ones in the left. So I had the mastectomy done. Then I had to take the strong chemo for a long enough of time. And, my biggest thing in my journey was my hair. And because I loved my own hair. So that was my biggest downfall that really took me through my journey when my hair came out. But I was kind of in denial because I wasn't in denial, but I told God, I said, my hair, I'm going to be one of the people with my hair not going to fall out. But it came out. I tried to save it as long as I could, but it came out, and I went on through my chemo, and then I did my radiation, and I also, once I finished that, maybe a year after that, I had my breast reconstruction, and I went through everything. It was very painful going back and forth to the doctor, trying to get them to. I had I can't remember a deep flat that stayed inside of my chest, and they had to blow it up to the size of my gut. Right. So that was painful. So then it was time to get my surgery done, which I had the tummy tuck, and they made me a new breast, but unfortunately I never made it out the hospital because they had to keep rushing me into the emergency room because it kept developing tumors. So, I was down about that, and I just said, God, maybe it's just meant for me to have this one breast. So I didn't worry about it anymore. I say, thank God that I'm here. I'm going to go on with my life, and I'm going to enjoy life, and I'm going to be me, and I'm going to do me, and I'm going to still try to look. I don't think I look like me when I had my hair, but I'm still going to keep my head up and try to be beautiful all the time. Sometimes I get a little depressed. I do. And with the stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, it's breast cancer that spreads to other parts of your body. So it's not curable, it's just treatable. I get treatment every 3 weeks just to keep me here. But unfortunately I haven't told anybody this, but on my Facebook page, I did say I was gonna keep it real. I had a CT scan done last week, and a doctor called me and told me that it was some activity going. He said they didn't see any cancer, but it's some activity going on in my colon. We say we're gonna get the radiologist to look at it again. said he was gonna give me a call. So I had the my chart in my phone. So I looked on my chart. I didn't want to look at it, so I looked at the my chart, and it just is a possibility of a reoccurrence in my colon.
It's okay. It's all right. Take your time.
That's right. Absolutely, Linda. It is a journey.
That's all I'm gonna say for right now.
Miss Linda, can I just interrupt you right
Can
quick?
you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Can I just tell you that I am so honored to be on the show with you, and I do truly appreciate you keeping it exactly 100. Going through situations like this, it's not easy on one person at home. For you to have to go through the first initial shock of saying, I have breast cancer, okay? And then you have everyone saying, you know, it's gonna be all right, you know, you got this, we're with you. Then you have the surgery. And then you're down on your luck again. But you know what? Each time you had your held your head up. Then
Yeah.
I'm going to lose my hair. But still, you just kept your faith in God the whole.
Yeah.
Then the surgery went bad, and then you know you had to. I don't know if they were like infections or whatever was going on, but you know what? You have to have head held again. Never drop your faith in God.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I truly, truly admire about your story. And I'm not going to tell you that to tell you don't lose your faith now. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
And the only reason why I say that because I can see a bigger picture for you.
Okay.
I can see a bigger picture because when you talk, I said it probably metastasized, but she had cancer. Then I'm like thinking, well, I found something, and they didn't find it late. Okay?
Yeah. Right.
Find it late. And colon cancer is something that is like breast cancer. It is fixable. Do you have to go through surgery, chemo, radiation? We do not know, but we know that there are ways of taking care of it. So we don't know that either. There's always the chance that something can come back.
Yes. Yeah.
Lady today, and she's saying that, oh, I can't move my arm, this, that, and the other. She did no injury. She didn't do anything. And I'm thinking to myself, she have a limited movement, you know, pain with movement. I'm like, you probably have bursitis. What is that? Some little pocket socket that's inside of one little bones in there. You don't want to get too technical because you're going to lose people, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, and she said, well, will it come back? Well, it will come back. We don't know. Nobody guarantee, but what the doctors do know, what they do, and which I appreciate that they did, they stayed on top of you.
Yeah.
And you stayed on top of it. You're vigilant. And that's the part, Linda, that is also beautiful, is that you're vigilant about your health. And again, I like the way what Shay said, if they see something in the colon, it's fixable.
That part.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. But you know, I want to.
Lose your faith. Don't you dare give up because you see, I mean, you have a nurse, look, I'm a nurse too. I think I am a nurse practitioner. We see these things, okay? And who do you rely on then? Nurses. Doctors are good, but I'm telling you, we nurses, we know better.
Yeah.
And I can speak for Lady J and I and say your sister circle has just increased, boo. It has just increased. We got you.
So much. Thank you so much. You know,
Go ahead.
I want to say that you know, when you always hear people don't talk about the negativity. I mean, breast cancer changes your whole life. For me, I was married. I've been divorced. I've been separated for years. And the breast cancer didn't help. But I'm not going to beat myself up because I have to, with metastatic breast cancer, it's about making myself happy now. And the doctor always tell me, you enjoy life. Stay happy. Because when you stay happy, you live longer. And I feel like I'm happy, but I have 2 grandkids. And they mean the world to me. And when they go to school and they're not here, it's a whole different vibe in the house. But as soon as they come in, it just, even if I was to get depressed, it just makes me happy, And my granddaughter, I go out there with her and help her train for basketball on the court. And she wants me to stand there and she want to run into me. I'm like, girl, I'm too old. I can't be chasing you. But but I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I can do it. Right. And I was like, you can't just sit around and feel sorry for yourself. You got to get up and do something. And I know y'all know I like to dance. So
Yes, we go.
So just going out, putting on my clothes, putting on my makeup, it makes me feel good, not going out to meet different people and something like that. Because honestly, breast cancer puts you in a different place where, I mean, the women that, not, I guess not everybody, but I'm single. So I'm like, I might not sound good, but I just don't want to be bothered. I just want to live my life for me. Because when it's time for me to go, at least I can say I did what I wanted to do and enjoyed what I wanted to do. And my joy is my grandkids. My joy is my grandkids.
Amen.
They can say well, when I'm gone, they can say, well, my grandmother, they would speak highly of their grandmother. That's what I want them to remember. Not thinking that negativity, but I'm just keeping it real.
Mm-hmm. But your journey's not done yet.
Oh
no. It's not. But sometimes I just beat myself up. It's not but the devil trying to put negative thoughts in.
Yes.
But then that's when we talk to God.
That's right.
That's his job to put those negative to your mind. But Rhonda, question for you. Listening to Ms. Linda's story, do you hear many stories like this? And another question that I have not seen it, but have you ever come across men who might have breast cancer?
Yes. So in the 20 years, we have found 152 cancers. Out of those, we have not found any men in our program, but we have come across 3 men who had breast cancer that we became very acquainted with. 2 of them were in our calendars.
Oh, no.
We did a breast cancer survivor calendar, and 2 of them were in it. So they were through University of Maryland. We have a strong bond at the Cancer Center. And so we have run across men.
So with that, I mean, there's always numbers and statistics and studies. I always like to look at the ethnicity of the people that have the breast cancer. Were they Caucasian? Were they African American? I mean, what were they?
2 Caucasian and 1 African American. All 3 of them mothers had breast cancer, and their cancer did not come until in their 60s and above.
That's something that I should be looking at with men who has a mother that might have breast cancer. Thank you for that, because I'm like, I have never come across that, but now that I have you here, I'm like, I thought that might be a very good question to ask you. So thank you. Just help me out.
Yeah.
Coming back to you, Linda, my original question was actually for Rhonda, but Rhonda, you really did answer, a lot of what I was going to ask you when you did your introduction about the program. But that takes me back to Linda. So Linda, I want to ask you, was there a history of breast cancer in your family?
Yes, I have my mom's sister, which is my aunt. She had breast cancer, and she just she only had to have her lump removed, and she did radiation, and that was it. And also, it ran on my father's side. My father's 2 sisters had breast cancer.
And so, Rhonda and Shay, to both of you, so in your, in the circles that you navigate in, and in the medical field, are you finding that a lot of patients that have breast cancer, is it hereditary? Is it coming down from, genetics, genes, that type of thing? And do you encourage our daughters? Any of our daughters, I personally don't have a history of breast cancer in my family. However, is that something that, if I did,
would that be something we should encourage our daughters to start looking at an
Yes.
earlier point in life?
Yes. So what our program is just not for screening and diagnosis. We're also and treatment. We're also education. So over the 20 years, we've gone into the underserved communities, and we have become quite known in those areas. And we've partnered and collaborated throughout the communities and the federally qualified health centers. And so our charge is to go into the community and educate. It is so important to educate the ladies and the men about your history, know your body, look at your breasts once a month in front of a mirror. Make sure that you don't see any lumps or bumps, because you are in charge of your body. And so you're the vehicle that's going to run to the physician and say, look, this lump wasn't here a month ago. It's here now, and it's this size, and I'm really concerned about it. Or my family, or my mom, my sister, they acquired breast cancer at a certain age. I want you to know about it because I'm at this age. So, we will do, unfortunately, under 30, there's dense breasts. And so we find that, we don't want to we do ultrasounds for 20-year-olds. And we're finding also that breast cancer is starting in the younger population. So education, collaboration, and partnerships. And before the virus came, we were in the communities, we were giving out flyers, giving out information. And so it's all about educating.
We had a question from. Go ahead, Shay.
I was going to say, to piggyback on Rhonda, when it comes to family history of breast cancer, we start screening these people. Normally, we start the mammograms at the age of 40. We start screening them at the age of 30. Okay? And there's also blood work that we collect from them. But if they have the family history of prostate, it doesn't matter what kind of cancer they have. We start screening 10 years prior. That's why it's so important that when you become of age, you get your mammograms done. Why? Because insurance, they pay for it at a certain age, because statistics have shown breast cancer starts to rear its ugly head at the age of 40. But studies have also shown that if you have a family history of cancer, either your grandmother, your aunt, like Linda said, anyone in your family, if they have a history of it, then automatically we start screening you at the age of 30. When you go to your doctor, and your doctor, the first time meeting your primary care physician, and if he doesn't ask you about your family history, then you don't want that doctor, okay? Because that's not anyone that's thorough with your health. Because your past, your family members, if they're part of, they're linked to you. And it's not that often that you will find someone that has a family history like men. If they have prostate cancer, their father, their grandfather, they might have it as well. And I start screening them like 5 years prior, okay? They don't like for us to do that, but I'm like, they have a family history. And these are things that we have to do. Okay? So yes, family history, 9 times, not 5 or 6, 9 times out of 10, you will have breast cancer.
And you know what?
And we at university,
go ahead.
We at university do genetic counseling. There is a program there. We have a wider range of services. So if we know there's a strong history in the family, we will refer them on for genetic counseling.
And I was just, before we get to our next question, I am glad to hear that both Shay and Miss Rhonda, because I know that, for myself on a personal note, there is history on both, sides of my family. And so they gave me the blues when I tried to get, screened at an early age. The doctors were like, oh, well, even with the medical history, we typically don't test people, this young. And I really had to fight for it. So I'm glad to hear that now, I guess the more that statistics show and the more younger that people become, then they'll start to see and allow these things, even with the gynecologists, they don't want to do these pap smears and stuff on people after a certain age. And I'm learning that women are being diagnosed at the, once they stop after 55, 60, this is when some of the people, are starting to have issues. And so I'm really glad, to hear that it's more of an option now, and they don't want to not pay, they're like, the insurance company might not pay for it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, if I had to pay out of pocket, then, and I strongly encourage, anybody who's out there that's listening, if you get resistance and, something is going on, or you're concerned that something is going on, you got to do what you got to do. Go over somebody's head, talk to somebody's supervisor, go to a different clinic, hospital, whatever it is that you need, because the people that you're turning away could wind up, in a further stage later on, and it could have just been really averted earlier. We had a question from Miss Victoria. Oh, I'm sorry. We have feedback. Somebody, I don't know if you have two different devices going on at once, but we got a little bit of feedback out there. I'm not sure.
So if you could just mute it.
If you could mute, if you have like more than one device going on. We had a question though from Miss Victoria, who is stating that, and actually that leads us into our next. So I'm gonna go into that first, and then she's asking about other symptoms besides the lump. So in doing our research, we learned that some of the symptoms of breast cancer include swelling in all or part of a breast, even if no lump is felt, skin dimpling, which it says sometimes looking like an orange peel, breast or nipple pain, nipple retraction, which is the inward turning of the nipple, nipple or breast skin that is red, dry, flaky, or thickened, discharge other than breast milk, and swollen lymph nodes. Sometimes a breast cancer can spread to lymph nodes under the arm or around the collarbone and cause a lump or swelling there, even before the original tumor is large enough to be felt. So as we know that things are ever changing, we want to know, is that pretty much covering the symptoms that, you guys are hearing from in women? And what are some of the more common symptoms that patients are generally reporting having when they, decide to come to a doctor?
Just what you just mentioned.
All
those yes, absolutely.
So as you're talking about lymph nodes are found throughout pretty much all parts of the body. And the lymph nodes, I want to call it like a, when you're trying to strain your spaghetti and you got to pour the water out and you put it in the little strainer. Well, that's what a lymph node is, okay? It's supposed to, anything that is bad. Sometimes cancer seep right on through there. So when you're actually doing a self breast exam, when you mention up on the Kiara, just to tell the women, you don't just feel the breast area. You actually start here. You actually start doing your breast exam up under the arm and then going all the way around. You don't just start here because you might miss a lump. That's here. So you actually start under the arm when you're doing your breast exam. Okay.
And I'm really glad that you threw that out there. I'm gonna let you go, Ms. Linda, but we appreciate the presentation, because we have people that are viewing, that may have never done a self breast exam, and so they don't know what they're doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. They teach you, every year when you go, and I'll be like, all right, they tell you do it in the shower or laying down, sitting up, and all of this stuff, and I'm like, I do the best that I can, but
you want to make sure that you're laying down. And the shower is good as well, but you lay down and you put your arm behind your back. Okay, when you lay down and you put your arm behind your back, that forces your chest to stretch and your boobs to fall wherever they may. Okay. Now, for us little people that are part of the itty bitty committee, we don't have a problem with that. Okay, because when we lie back, everything is completely flat. So we're aiming on those that have the stuff. You might have to get your partner, I don't know, maybe I don't know who you're going to get to help you out.
I'm about to say, if you get your partner to help out, that might
That's going somewhere else. Right. That's a different kind of exam.
I'm going to find something tricky for you. But maybe get another female to help you. funny. I'm sitting here, October 13th was no ball day. I'm like, I wish a man would come on here and say hurrah, hurrah. We had one man that came and completely support this day, Shay. I said,
Listen, I gotta tell y'all,
No,
Pastor Phil was like, I'm not going out the house this day. I'm not going out the house today. I don't want to see nothing. I don't even want to look at Facebook. I don't want to see nothing. I support y'all. I'm all in. I'm covering y'all in prayer, but I don't want to see.
just let the girls just flow.
Just let them flow.
Miss Linda, you have something you wanted to say?
I wanted to say that when I was diagnosed with stage 3, it went in my lymph nodes, and I had like 28 lymph nodes removed. So the doctor said that my lump was 5 centimeters, and it was coming up on my skin. So they caught it in time. You know, if they did not catch it in time, it would have went on my skin and had skin cancer too. So that was a blessing that they caught it. But by me having all those lymph nodes removed, which that wasn't good at all because it was spreading, you know. So the chemo, I had to take this strong chemo, but it happened.
We've started this year off, July 1st is our fiscal year. We have 5 cancers, 1 from last year, a holdover from last year, and 4 brand new cancers. So we're busy. And so you just never know. We can have 1 cancer a year. Now we've got 5.
I wanted to give you guys a comment from Chauncey Whitehead. Chauncey, the trainer, mind trainer.
Hey, Chauncey.
Hey, Chauncey.
He posted that in 1993, actor Richard Roundtree, star of the ironic 70s film Shaft, was diagnosed with breast cancer after discovering a lump while he was in Costa Rica filming a movie. The news shocked Roundtree to the core, and he was cancer-free for 7 years before he was able to break his silence. So, you know, pretty like,
Yeah.
talk about it.
And you know, one of the things that concern me about men and breast cancer, men are not as open. As you said, it took him he was 7 years cancer-free before he broke his silence. But men are not as open. And to try to talk to men and, you know, to get them to understand the importance of getting, you know, checked themselves or to do their own, you know, exam. They're still like, men don't get breast cancer. You are so right, Rhonda, about the educational piece. And I think one of the things that we really have to do is educate our men as much as we are educating our women.
Yes.
That macho thing, that, you know, man, I don't get no breast cancer, you know, this, that, and the third. Can you see him? I mean,
but it's not just breast cancer, it's all cancers that they're not.
Yeah.
So what I had to learn, motivational interviewing. I had to learn that technique throughout my process through the cancer, because, you know, some patients can really go round and around Robin Hood's bend about why they can't do it, why they can't have that particular screening. But I'm on top of you because I know about motivational interview, and I'm not gonna let you get away.
Right.
So there are certain techniques that are so important, but it's also important to get someone that you know, a friend, even with the breast cancer support group with Linda. Linda can help another breast cancer survivor in their journey. It's all about connections and helping others.
Absolutely. And all right, so we're going to get a couple of these questions in from our viewers. So Miss Victoria Green said some women choose to have their breasts removed when they know that they have a history of breast cancer in their family. Is this advisable? Because I know for, you know, Angelina Jolie, she was one that I knew of, you know, that had that done, because she said she was terrified, you know, and so she just decided to have them removed as a precaution. What do you guys think about that? Is that extreme?
We have come a long way in medicine for breast cancer. And that is something that I believe, you got to talk to your provider about, but we've got so many high-tech all kinds of treatments out there that maybe you don't have to run to get your tatas taken off because you're scared.
Protect them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought that was a little bit, I mean, not judging, but when she decided to do that, I'm like, wow, like that's a huge,
Look at that was like
40
years
ago.
when she did that. And I mean, technology and science,
But-
we have come a long way.
Yes.
But you know what, y'all, I really think about, because I have one, and I always say I wish I'd have got the other one cut off too, because I worry that it's gonna go to the one on the right. I honestly do think about that a lot, but I'm like, I don't want to get no need to get it cut off now since I have the metastatic, But I used to want mine cut off.
I understand.
Yeah, I definitely understand the thought process in that for sure.
It's an individualized preference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so we have one more question. When there is pain in the breast, is it constant or does it come and go as one of the symptoms?
Well, I can't say a pain in the breast could be, a pain in the breast is something to be concerned about, but that could have been because you picked up something heavy.
Right.
So you want to be cognizant that pain, you want to tell the provider, of course, if it's continuing, but you also want to be cognizant that it could be muscles. You just don't know.
I
I couldn't have any pain anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Miss Linda, somebody named Shanika Neek said that they just said a prayer for you, Miss Linda.
Oh.
So that's somebody that you have that I guess that that's watching.
I said thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
She can hear you.
Oh, thank you.
And then Lisa McDaniel said that she was baseline. I'm missing it.
She said, I was able to get a baseline mammogram at 30. It was recommended by my insurance to have something to compare to when I turned 40. I have cancer on both sides of my family. So she has cancer on both sides of her family.
And she pushed it. Pushed and pushed.
Yeah, I know she did.
Good.
I know she did. This is my question to you, Miss Rhonda, is what's your funding like? Where does your funding come from? Because it sounds like your program is very vital, and I know that you're under the University of Maryland, but I imagine that they don't support all of it. So can you tell us about your funding?
Okay, so we are funded by the Maryland Cigarette Restitution Fund. And we have been funded through them since we began 20 years ago in 2001. We are blessed as a grant program to still be running and still have the funding from the state. But what we have done, we have proven over the 20 years that we are a vital institution. Now, what is so important is that the Maryland has a diagnostic and treatment program for the state. For any woman who is diagnosed with cervical or breast cancer. So what happens is the patient comes to our program and we enroll them, we diagnose them, and we pay for some of their treatment. But we know if we paid for everything that would eat up our entire grant. So what we do is we help them apply for an application to diagnostic and treatment. Now you stay at university. All of your care continues seamlessly, no problems. But diagnostic and treatment picks up the bill. So that's what we do. We pay a little bit, as much as we can, and then we transfer you to the diagnostic and treatment program. You stay at university, you still get your care, but that entity begins to pay for it. And then we can go on and find someone else and help them.
So does the Susan G. Komen Cure program, do they support, do they help? Are they part of your program?
Susan G. Komen was part of our program for 10 years, and they were a wonderful, wonderful partner. They also funded us, and what we utilized that money for is for the Hispanic population. And we were able to go out in the Hispanic community, educate them, screen, and do everything that we're doing with the English speaking population. Susan G. Komen has had many struggles. They're no longer in Maryland, unfortunately. They're gone. They wind up having many struggles. I want to say a good 6 years ago, they were hit with the parenthood problem, which they were then seen as part of that. And so money started to dry up for Susan G. Komen. So now they're more regional. They're not state at all. They're gone. But before they left, they gave us $8,000 and we're utilizing it for transportation for our ladies. So they have been wonderful with us.
Now, what about the Breast Cancer Awareness Foundation? Where do they come into to play with you guys at all?
No, only giving us free pamphlets, educational information that we can give out in the community. Yes. The Avon Foundation was also a part of us as well. We had them for 6 years, and they gave us grant funds as well. Of course, that time has come and gone. We now have some CDC funding from the federal government. We get $10,000. That helps us with the breast screening. We're able to do PAPs for 20-year-olds and above with that money. So yeah.
Wow, that's great.
It's all grant funded. All grant funded.
Now, do you find that the support is there for our African American community?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's the collaboration and partnerships that we have with the federally qualified health centers for those who want to be a part of us. So right now, Park West and Baltimore Medical Systems is going to be working with us, and through them, we'll be working through their patients in their community at Hollandtown and also at the Plaza and Belvedere. So we're expanding our reach.
Nice.
So we want to move on to talk a little bit about treatments. So I know, that Miss Linda had mentioned some of them. And so we are learning that some treatments are local, meaning that they treat the tumor without affecting the rest of the body. And most women with breast cancer will have to have some type of surgery to remove the tumor. It says, depending on the type of breast cancer and how advanced it is, you might need other types of treatments as well, such as surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, hormone therapy, immunotherapy, and targeted drug therapy. So can someone tell us a little bit about the different types of treatments? And, to me, it seems like the mastectomies are more for cancer that is in a further stage. Is that kind of how for the nurses? Is that kind of how they?
Yes.
When you come, go ahead.
Once you've been diagnosed with through the mammogram and the biopsy, our breast surgeon immediately at university gets into play. We have a team. So it's palliative care, is the medical onc, surgical onc. And what we do is through determining through the biopsy, what is the best treatment for that particular cancer. Yeah. So it's all individualized. Sometimes a tumor is too large. They need to shrink it before surgery. We'll do that. Sometimes if we may just go straight to radiation. It just really depends on the stage and the size and what has it impacted. Is it in the lymph nodes? Is it invasive, which means it's gone outside of an organ? Or is it just in that one area? So it's always individualized, and it's a team. There's a team of a good 15 cancer participants down at the cancer center. And through them, they decide what your treatment phase is going to be, and you're always a part of that. Yeah. Linda, is that correct?
Yes, and they did they're good at their job too. They explain they bring you in and they introduce you to the radiologist, your chemo doctor, and they just break everything down to you, tell you what you're gonna do, how long your treatment's gonna be, how many months. And the people there at university, they're great. Unfortunately, my insurance, I switched over to a different insurance, and I'm at Mercy now. I like university better, so, but I think I might be coming back because now the insurance I have, they're not going to have that anymore. I'm hearing so, but I did get used to my doctor. The only thing, a bad thing about with when you don't have real good insurance is that you have to keep switching your doctors, your oncologists. I get used to one, then because they not taking my insurance no more. You have to pay a load of money that I can't afford, so I have to go somewhere else, which I don't really like that, you know. But I also was blessed too to be in this program. I think I had the paper to put it back. This program helps me out with my treatment, anything that's affiliated with the breast cancer. This program pays for my CT scans, my treatment I get every 3 weeks. It's the Maryland Department of Health. Governor Larry Hogan, he has this program, and I think you might have mentioned it too. But it's breast and surgical cancer diagnosis and
treatment program.
So that you get to have the breast cancer and the uterine cancer to get in the program. Cervical. Yeah, you have to have both too. But I mean, it's not a good thing. But when my cancer came back the second time, it went down to my uterus and my fallopian tube. So, you know, that's why I was able to get in the program, and they do help me with my bills. So that's a blessing.
So, Miss Linda, if you don't mind sharing the metastatic part of the breast cancer, how did they discover that, and what can you explain a little bit more? Because I know that you said it's not curable, it's only treatable. Could you explain to us and our viewers a little bit more about what that means?
Yes, well, really, I didn't read a lot once I was diagnosed because I wasn't in denial, but I just didn't want to know. So I never knew that breast cancer could come back again. Never knew that. Was shocked. One day I couldn't get out the bed because my stomach was feeling so heavy. And I told my daughter, I said, I don't know why my stomach just keep feeling heavy. I thought I was just constipated. But she was like, Mama, call your doctor. So I called my doctor, went there and got a scan done, and it blew my mind. He was like, you have cancer again. I was like, huh? So got prepared to go get it removed in my uterus and my fallopian tube. First they told me I was gonna need a whole hysterectomy. But when I was in the shower getting ready that morning to go get my surgery done, I was saying to myself, that devil is a liar. I ain't gonna need no hysterectomy. So when I came out the surgery and I woke up, it was just me in the room, and the doctors came there. I'll never forget that. And they stood down the foot of my bed and they said, Ms. Adamson, you have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and it's just treatable, it's no cure. So I looked at him and I kind of knew what it meant because one of my sisters in the Living and Loving Life support group had it, and we used to talk about it. So I was like, wow, I have the same thing that Marlene had. So I already, and you know, I just cried, and it was a nurse, it was a lady in there. She was cleaning up, and she came over there to me, and she said, "Don't cry," because my daughter told me that they didn't want them to wake me up that night and tell me. They just said, "Let me sleep it out," and they'd tell me in the morning. So I was by myself, and I kind of was upset though, really, because I don't want to be by my. I didn't want to be by myself hearing something like that. But you know, God knew best. But I had to take the chemo all over again. I can't remember the name of the chemo, but I had to take them over again. And you know, I got back to my normal life. But now I have to take treatment every 3 weeks for the rest of my life because the metastatic was, well, I started off with breast cancer, as I was saying. So when you have breast cancer and then the cancer come back and spread to another area of your body, that's why it's called metastatic. Now, if I'd have just had, if my cancer first started in my uterus, then I would have had uterine cancer, you know. But now when it moves from your breast to other areas in your body. It's metastatic. So, sometimes I find myself, and I'm being honest, asking my doctor, like, because I hear people say, well, you only get certain amount of years off of metastatic. And every day I'll be like, well, I'm doing good. Sometimes I find myself counting, but I ask my doctor sometimes and say, well, how long you think I got? And he said, Miss Anderson, when this medicine start working, we got some other medicine for you. And it made me feel good, though, honestly. And like I say, I come on here to really keep it real. I'm not gonna hold nothing back because that's just how I feel. I have emotions and I have feelings, and I done been through a lot over my life, and I know God got me here for a reason. He definitely did, because when I was young, when I was 5 years old, I was hit by a car real bad. I was in the hospital for a whole year, and the car dragged me by my ear from one block to another. And and then for me to go through this, so I found myself at one point in time questioning God, asking him, why do my body parts have to be messed up? I did. And, but he still have me here, and I'm still beautiful. So, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you are beautiful. You are absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Ain't nothing I can't.
When I came down and I seen you in your beautiful pink and your
Yes.
organza and your frilliness, and I thought to myself, oh, I feel underdressed. And so, yes, Queen, yes. And I want to say to you, Linda, that God has need of you. I know that you question him. I know that you wonder why me, Lord, why is this? Or, you feel like you're not the perfect person that you think you should be, but you are the perfect person that God has ordained you to be. And your story, you have no idea how your story and your testimony is going to elevate and help to others just to continue to press their way through. I can just hearing your words, I feel it. I feel, how much you're going through. But just know that it is not just for you. It is for you to do exactly what you're doing today. You are telling another sister just by the fact that you got up this morning. And listen, y'all, I'm not going to start preaching, but y'all know y'all are preaching a whole lot. Just by the fact that you got up this morning and you came on Victory Talk this evening, you are a testimony.
Thank you so much.
Witnessing to how good, how amazing God is. And whose report do you believe? It's God's report that you believe because you are sharing it. Yeah, I know what the doctors have said. I know what your body is trying to tell you because your body will lie to you.
Yes.
Your body will lie to you. Your body will tell you that this, that, and the third is going on. And you have to encourage yourself with what God says. And so that is exactly what you're doing. And so I commend you and I thank God for you. And before we go, because I know we are winding down in time, we just want to get a little bit of background about the Living and Loving Life Breast Cancer Support Circle. So can one of you ladies share about that? And how long have you been a part of this group and what impact? Well, we're kind of hearing the kind of impact that it's having, but tell us about tell us about the group, because is that something that that you have to have breast cancer for? Do you need a referral? How does one get involved?
I can tell you, and then Linda can tell you her side. So the support group has now been going 11 years at University of Maryland. Rhonda Boozer-Yearling and Lavesta Jackson-Krut are the co-leaders of this, and they're doing a phenomenal job. They tried before COVID. They were meeting down at university, all kinds of different. Each month we would have something, whether it be exercise, whether it be yoga, laughing, or something that the ladies may want to hear about. We would try to get them there, and also provided a meal. But since COVID, it's been a little challenging getting folks on Zoom and getting them. So they try once a month. getting people on Zoom in hopes to still continue to thrive with the breast cancer group. You don't have to be a part of our program to come into our breast cancer support group. We come one, come all. We have no problems with anyone coming. And we also have an Hispanic breast cancer support group as well. So Linda can tell you more.
Our support group is very supportive. We all get together and we had different people come to the group. Some that tell you about lashes and makeup, and we have people to come and do exercise with us. And then the thing about it, you can bring. We had a lot of women in the group that they had breast cancer, but then their daughters had breast cancer, so they would bring them in too. And we would have like where you can just talk to everyone and you can just pull everything out on the floor, just everything. And I remember the day that we had someone come in and they was like, we want everybody to tell how they really feel about breast cancer. And I tell you, it was some crying going on in there, it was some laughter going on in there, and it was real emotional. But we get together, we dance, we smile, and we get good food.
And one year we took 40 ladies to New York.
Oh yeah.
Maryland Turk bus that was donated to us. We rolled up in New York and we saw a show.
Did. Yeah, we did. I forgot about that. Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. And we went down to DC too before the Martin Luther King.
Yeah. And we also went to Pier 6.
Yeah.
And listened to some music and Phillips.
Oh, let me tell y'all this. They also granted a wish for me.
What's that?
Guess who I got to meet and greet somebody that I really, really like?
Who?
Trey Songz.
Oh.
We will try to make your wish come true.
Yeah, they made my wish come true. They knew I liked the Trey Songz. And when he came to Baltimore, they had me and my daughter meet him and meet and greet. And we blew my mind. Yeah.
So we tried. We tried our best.
Y'all did a good job. I tell you. I thank God for the program, You can bring other women there too. But when I was diagnosed, my sister was like, you got to go to one of them programs. You got to do this. You got to wear a wig. I'm like, I ain't wearing no wig. Look like no old lady girl. And no, I'm just not ordering wigs like crazy.
You're looking good.
Ain't no
looking good.
No extra hair.
You're right. And when I went to the program, it was the best thing ever because I was like, I don't want to. This is how I really look at it. I don't want to tell them people my business. I don't know people. I don't want to tell them my business because it was like locked in. But once I went there and shared how I feel, and it really helps because they done already been through it. So they're going to help you down the road. We even had women coming that was having their treatment, and they were rolling there with the tubes in them and the treatment, and they were coming in and sit down.
And
and that's the good thing about it, that you can help somebody else because they don't know what's going to happen. Right. I done already been through it. I can tell you what's going to happen,
And I think that is absolutely so important. And it sounds like this program is just like really wonderful. And so I thank God for and we have personal relationship with LaVesta. And so we thank God for LaVesta because she is, she connected us with you ladies tonight. And so we tried to get her to come on the show. That's what we originally, but she just like, oh no, I got somebody better. And so she did. She was like, oh, I can do you even better.
Let me tell you.
We just thank God for her.
LaVesta came in the program August of 2001. She was the first one coming into the program, and I came in December.
Wow.
And so we just thank God for LaVesta, and we thank God for both of you ladies. So Linda, I want to just once again, you've already heard how I feel, and I'm sure that I echo, with my sister Key, and I'm sure that and our viewers feel the same way. You are one powerful sister.
Thank you so much.
Pushing, you keep pressing, and you just please stay in touch. Please stay
Okay,
in touch.
I sure will.
Yes,
I sure will. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much
for coming on the show. And Rhonda, my sister, Queen, yes, thank you, because I know that the work is emotional. I know it's difficult.
We love it.
But I know that you love it. So we thank God for you. And we ask you real quick if you could share any how they can contact your program.
Yes.
How any resources that you know of that maybe would help some of our any of our viewership.
Well, if you're underinsured, if you have no insurance, please call us at 410-328-HOPE. That is 4673. And you will get a hold of one of our staff members. We can enroll you into the program. And once you have done all of that, we can schedule you for your clinical breast. And if you have a cervix, your pap smear, and then a mammogram. And we provide transportation if you have problems getting to your appointment.
Thank you, God. And just a few resources that we have looked up and we will share and we will type it in, in the chat so that we can make sure that everyone has access to it. Breastcancer.org, cancercenter.com, and cancer.org. So those are some other, resources that are out there that, and if you don't catch it all tonight and you just need help, inbox Key or myself or inbox Victorious Living Faith Ministries, Victory Talk. You can reach out to Shay Brown. You can message Fit for Life. And of course, I'm sure that you can reach out to Rhonda Silva.
Yes.
Shay,
yes, you can.
Out, do you have anything you want to add?
This on the 23rd of October, we will be doing our annual walk for breast cancer. We will have Chauncey the trainer along with the most beautiful Ernestine Shepherd. We walk for breast cancer. We walk for prostate cancer, colorectal. Give us a reason to walk, and we will walk. Okay. So we will be this not this Saturday, but the following Saturday on the 23rd at Druid Hill Park at 7:30 in the morning. We will be by the tennis courts. So if anyone wants to join us, any breast cancer survivors or any family members, we are on Rhonda. She shows up to almost one of our community walks. So we would love to see other people as well to come out and join us. Again, it's at the Druid Hill Park, 7:30 in the a.m. We are near the tennis court, and again, we will have Chauncey the trainer, Ernestine Shepherd, leading the pack.
All right, sounds good.
Wonderful. Well, ladies, that is our show for tonight. We thank each and every one of you. We thank our viewers. We pray that something that you heard or that was shared would be helpful. And if not helpful or beneficial for you, then for somebody else that you can share this information with. And please remember, get your tatas checked. It's so important. Get your tatas checked and make sure that if you have husbands, if you have mates that, there's concern or there's some history, make sure they get checked. They're not going to willingly go for it. Do what you have to do as the woman of your household and of your family. So that is our show. I am your host, Lady J, and my girl.
It's your girl, Key, signing off.
And so we thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week for our next edition of Victory Talk, where it's our marriage edition. So y'all know how we cut up. So y'all come on and back next week. See you later. Good night.
All righty. Thank you.
Hold tight, ladies.